everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I've got a PX4 Subcompact and a PX4 full-size. They're both the PX4 Storm, and by now you may have seen our video on each of these individual guns. We don't normally do a comparison between the Subcompact and the full-size of any given gun, because most of the time it's like somebody slapped the plans on a photocopier, set it to 75%, and bang, there's your Subcompact. And at first glance these kind of look like that same thing happened. The Subcompact is 1.4 inches shorter in length and 0.7 inches shorter in height. They're the same thickness, but the Subcompact only weighs 1.6 ounces less, which is kind of interesting when you figure the 4-round difference between the two. The Subcompact holds 13 and the full-size holds 17. This weighs 1.7 ounces. So the difference in ammo is more weight than the difference in the guns. When you glance at them, same sights, same rough slide profile, it kind of looks like the same gun until you start to look at some of the nuancy little differences, like the takedown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these apart, show you the internals, and show you how they're different. And as you're going through it, you'll also see how they have a lot of the same features. So I'm going to start by making sure that, of course, they're unloaded. So we do have two unloaded guns. The full size that's in my hand was lent to us by a local viewer, and the Subcompact was lent to us by Guns Galore of Lakeland. So one of the things you may have noticed when you looked at the barrel blocks, that's the first hint there's something different. It's more than just the color, it's the actual shape. The full size has the rotating barrel, which is similar to like the Cougar and a couple other guns like that. The Subcompact has a flared tilting barrel, and by the way, both of these are 9mm guns. They are available in 40, but these are the 9mm variants. To take them apart is fairly similar. Make sure they're loaded. Now on this one, you flip this thing down, which looks like a lot like the various takedown switches you've seen on many other guns, but this isn't the end of it. You also just have to pull it out. So when I pull this piece out, then I can take the gun apart. And you have the frame and you have the slide. So let me do that with the other one. Now the other one is more similar to the XDMs, the Glocks, or any of those. Pull it back just a hair, take the weight off it, pull down on these two little levers, and they slide apart, and you have the frame and the slide. Now if you look at the frames side by side, they really do look very similar. The only differences you see really are related to the size of it. Other than the fact when you look at this locking block, it's a little bit different on the Subcompact, and that's because it doesn't have the rotating barrel. This may account for some of the extra weight that's in the Subcompact that's preventing it from being as much lighter as you would expect. That one still has a magazine in it. Fire control groups are basically the same. Where the differences really lie are in the slides. Notice this large central block. This is part of the componentry that makes the rotating barrel work, and this one looks a lot more like you'd expect a Glock or any of the others that you're familiar with to work. The back part of the slide is nearly identical, just slightly shorter. So let me pop out the barrel out of the Subcompact, and you'll see that it is a stainless steel barrel. It's flared, so it's flared at the end, and it's standard tilting barrel setup with an integral feed ramp. So the feed ramp is part of the barrel on the Subcompact. Now let's take a look at the full size. Pop the locking block out, and the recoil spring and guide rod assembly comes with it. And pop the barrel out, which sometimes you have to get it turned just right. This has got all the extra componentry to make the rotating barrel part work. So there is some mechanical differences between the two guns. They're not exactly the same gun. Now the full size and the compact share this rotating barrel assembly. So the full size and the compact are much more close to each other. We don't happen to have a compact on hand. The Subcompact uses the tilting barrel. So the Subcompact is really more different than the rest of them. And so really from a functional perspective, they both work. They were both reliable. But if you were expecting the barrels and the internals to all be the same, like you would on, let's say, a Glock or an XDM, you'll find that they won't be. So I'm going to put them back together, and then I'm going to show you a couple other details about them, and we'll wrap up the video. Now that I've got them reassembled, we can continue on. If you're interested in the full takedown and reassembly process for either one of these, I'll put links to the full videos for each gun in the description so that you can have access to that. A couple of the other things that are just minor that are different: you have a little well to put your finger in, keep it up away from the trigger on the subcompact. That's not present on the full size. But the majority of the other functions and controls that you'll interact with operating the gun, they are the same. The safety levers, the sights are identical, the hammers are basically identical, the slide release levers on both of them are identical. So all of the functional things that you have to handle to make the gun operate when you're using it, you'll have the same experience between the two. And if I pick them up and show you the sight picture, other than, of course, sight radius, the sight pictures are the same, the back of the gun is the same, and the grips, they're roughly the same. You have a little less serration on the subcompact, but it is a smaller grip, so you're going to have a little bit of difference there. But functionally, those types of things are the same. And one thing, that, just like Glocks and the XDMs and many of the others, the larger magazines from the larger gun will fit in the gun. They will lock back, or even the the extended one. And there are little adapters available to fill in this gap to make it a full-size grip, so that you can run the larger magazines. And we did run this one with the larger magazine in it, and it ran flawlessly. So just like you're used to with all the others, of course you want to be careful with that little pinky finger, can cause trouble if you put it on the magazine. But just like you're used to with XDMs and Glocks and many others, you have the option of carrying a larger full-size mag for your backup mag, but having the compact mag in the gun make it a little bit easier to conceal. So overall, we found the subcompact a little more difficult to shoot well. Had a few flyers that we really just couldn't explain. The full-size was a little bit easier to shoot well. The subcompact, again, we want to thank Guns Galore for loaning us this gun. And we want to thank our local viewer for loaning us the full size so that we could do these videos and bring these comparisons to you. If you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and have a great day. Thank you.